Hello and welcome to Advent 2020 and welcome to Virtual Sunday School for the 29th of November, which is today. Your Advent calendars at home won't start today, they won't start until Tuesday, which is the 1st of December, but actually Advent begins today. Over the next 4 weeks we're going to think about what Advent means and how it helps us to look forward to Jesus coming. Each week I'm going to come into church to record the videos next to the Advent wreath, which we have here, because that's what we're going to look at is the four candles in the Advent wreath. We're not going to look at the white one because that's the one for Christmas Day and what they mean. So today is the first Sunday of Advent, so we've got one candle lit. And one of the meanings we can take for the first Sunday of Advent is about hope. Hope is about wanting something to happen. This year, more than ever, we have things to hope for. So let me ask you a question. What are you hoping for? Each week during Advent, we're going to read 2 Bible passages rather than just one. First, every week we're going to read the same passage from Isaiah. Now, Isaiah was a prophet who lived about 800 years before Jesus. And he was a prophet, which means that God spoke to him and then he spoke to other people and passed on God's messages. And then we're going to read a different passage from a gospel each week, and the Gospels are the bit of the Bible that tell us all about Jesus's life on earth. So our first passage, which comes from the book of Isaiah, and it's in Isaiah chapter 9, so let me read these verses to you. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. So that was a description of Jesus being born, essentially. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given. But yet it was written 800 years before Jesus was born. Our passage from the Gospels comes from Matthew's Gospel, which is the first of these 4 special books. And it's about a man who had immensely great hope in Jesus. And it's a man who had a disease and he had the hope that Jesus could heal him. When he came down from the mountainside, large crowds followed Jesus. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, "Lord, if you're willing, you can make me clean." Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. "I am willing," he said. "Be clean." Immediately he was cured of his leprosy. Then Jesus said to him, "See that you don't tell anyone, but go, show yourself to the priest and offer the gift Moses commanded as a testimony to them." So the skin disease he suffered from was called leprosy, as the passage said. And that disease meant that he couldn't live in society, he couldn't live with his family, he couldn't have a job, and he certainly couldn't go to the temple to worship God. He put all his hope in Jesus healing him, which of course he did. Now, you may not have a disease that means you can't live at home and speak to other people, but we still have a God we can have hope in and hope in all that he will do for us. When we trust God with our lives, he promises he will give us the very best for us that there is. It may not necessarily be exactly what we want, but he promises it will be the best. Now, at the moment, obviously, lots of people are hoping that coronavirus will end very soon. And of course, we should be praying for that. We can trust God that even in these really difficult times, he is working and he still loves us. So again, let me ask you, what are you hoping for? For our activity today, we're going to make a hope cross. Now, there's a template on your email that you can print out, or to be honest, you can draw your own because it's really not very tricky this week. And it's going to look like this. And it's going to say, I appreciate this is backwards, but you'll get the idea. It's going to say God across the middle and then hope down the long side. And it reminds us that we have hope in God. And then you can decorate it probably more beautifully than I have, let's be honest, and cut it out to remind you of the hope we have in God when it doesn't seem like there's any other hope in life. For our prayer today, you're going to need an old but clean jar or a box of some kind and some paper. It doesn't have to be a very big box. On the paper, I'm asking you to write or draw things that you hope for. Now, I'd like you to try really hard not just to think about stuff that we hope for, stuff you might hope you get for Christmas, but think about other things that you can hope for as well. Write them down, draw them, put them in the jar, ask your whole family to do this. This is a family activity to do together. You only need one jar or box in your family. And then there's a prayer for you to pray together. And it says this: Lord, thank you that we can have hope in you. Thank you that the man in our story in the Bible had enough hope and faith that he asked you to heal him. In our box we have put our hopes and we give them to you now. Thank you that you always hear our prayers. Amen. And don't forget that last week we made an advent calendar, and that starts on Tuesday. If you're good and kind things to do, that begins this week on Tuesday. And I've got some more good news. We're allowed to reopen church for public worship next Sunday, which is great, which means that we can have our Toy and Christingle service next Sunday here at 3:45. It'll be very safe, just like it was before this lockdown. So please do come and join us for that. There will be more virtual Sunday school, and that will run right through till Christmas. And that will come to you hopefully on Friday. And then the service will be on Sunday afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you then. Have a great week. Bye.